The story is Bradley went through an extremely nasty divorce.
Afternoon, sir. Mr. Bellisario is present in custody. Your name, counsel?
Morning, Honor. Andrew Flahive, 9556 for Bradley.
Good afternoon. This is on for case number 354-165. It's on for affidavit for disqualification of your judge. I have reviewed the pleadings. Anything else you want to tell me? I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, I do. And just to be clear, I actually filed two and the judge filed answers for two. I believe both of these were put on the calendar. The affidavits are identical. The other case is C22362-447.
Okay.
Now, I will share a little, I'll be quick if you don't mind, because I was thinking about this for a while. I'm in front of Department 19 every criminal calendar. If you look at the last year, I would say probably every day other than maybe 3. I don't think the judge would ever show actual bias toward anything, quite frankly. I really don't. However, as you know, NRS also says any implied bias. I know you've been on the bench for a while. I know you were attorney for a while. We know through every study ever done, implied bias is very difficult, almost impossible to overcome. You just can't do it. Now, the story is Bradley went through an extremely nasty divorce, very bad. He now has 4 criminal cases, and you could argue all of those came about because of the divorce, including where his ex is a named victim in one of the matters. Now we are talking here, the landlords in my affidavit are his exes, his in-laws, his ex-in-laws, okay? They were the landlord of a company, a nonprofit organization, charity, that the judge, up until very recently, thought she was on the board for. She mentions in her affidavit that she thought she was on the board, but the proper paperwork was never filed.
Okay. Now,
when I first was going over the notes Bradley gave me, I was first reading the newspaper article, which I attached. I thought it was actually the owners, the manager, members of the company that she oversaw. I found out I was incorrect and I fixed it. They were actually the landlords. When I was first thinking of this, I'm like, well, shoot, if it was the owners, disqualify automatically almost. The landlords, you get a little more like this. But if you read the article, the landlords actually worked with the company when they cannot afford their rent. They did work for them to help raise the funds, let them stay in the place. If you are the CEO on a board which does charity work and your landlords are willing to bend over backwards and accommodate like that, I don't see how you cannot have some sort of implied bias. That doesn't mean, hey, we're going to rule against him because I like them so much or anything like that. But you do have, wow, these are pretty nice people. They worked with us so we could leave a charity open for a while. And if you are still like that, the fact that I thought it was the law clerk or partner of judge in a previous point of her life, but the judge said it was actually a roommate of hers and
prior roommate at college
and friend. The fact that she, and this one is the only thing I don't have documents on, this is just from Bradley's memory. Unfortunately, he's incarcerated, so he can't go and pull up any of those documents. He knows that her friend, Teresa May, was actually the attorney or CPA because he, being a lawyer, helped out his in-laws on things and everything and remember seeing those documents. Does that in itself do it? No, but it starts making your hand, you scratch your head when so many coincidences pop up. Again, I don't think the judge would do anything on purpose, but implied bias is very difficult to overcome. And I can't remember which justice said at the Supreme Court, it's not just for bias, actual bias and implied bias, it's also for the appearance of bias. And that's not for the statute, that was a Supreme Court case. I tried to find it really for a case. Do you have any questions for me, Your Honor?
No, so if it's information that comes from a court case during the court case, then the burden is different from when it comes from extrajudicial sources, you look at the reasonable person, would a reasonable person in seeing all this evidence question the judge's impartiality. It seems to me that it's a stretch. I understand that there is a relationship. We all are related to each other somehow by 6 or 7 levels of separation, right? So at least we know somebody that knows somebody else. This is, I mean, you're a couple of levels removed because you've got his ex's parents, and then who were the other people that
The other
it's another
people,
couple that was
yeah,
referenced in the
they were
case.
the owners. The other couple were the owners. His ex-in-laws were the landlords of the company and had her friend.
I understand the argument. I don't think it's a specious argument, but I don't see it. Especially based on the judge's affidavit that. You know, she says she didn't even know who the parents of the ex were until you put their names in the pleading. So the case law says that I have to give the judge's determination great weight. I'm not finding that there's anything that's gonna justify me disqualifying her in this case.
Do I get to say anything? Do I get to say anything for this? Or?
I'm sorry. Can I talk to him for 5 seconds?
Sure.
I'm sorry, I didn't get what he was saying. Just very for the record, he is bringing up something and I will investigate that. For his former attorney, there was possibly a property issue also related to the judge, but if I need to file, I will file it.
I'm gonna deny it for now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even have the right to an attorney in her courtroom. She says I don't have the right to an attorney. She doesn't give me due process. She remanded me without any
That-
notice, without an attorney present. I have no order to appeal on. What am I supposed to do? She told me I don't have the right to an attorney. She didn't let my attorney file anything until him. So since March 16th, 2023, she told my attorneys they could not do anything except file a motion to withdraw a plea. So they couldn't do anything else. They couldn't file a bail motion. They couldn't do anything. So I sat there for 15 months with no attorney.
I don't know anything about that. Wasn't in any of the
Right,
pleadings. that
which
I looked
I've
at.
never seen the pleading that he filed, which he said he was gonna do, which is, I don't know why. I mean, they know I was an attorney. I have some knowledge of this stuff. Why was I never consulted? So,
Based on what I have right now, I have to deny it. So,
all right, but we can file another affidavit to, he said he was gonna file
new
it. All
information, I'll probably look at it.
right, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Your Honor.
thanks, guys.